Hey friends, welcome into TexAgs Rewind presented by T-Mobile, and they want to remind you to visit T-Mobile.com/across America to learn more how you can get value and coverage through T-Mobile. And what a great show it was here on a Friday. Evan Stewart said, yeah, I'm going to Texas A&M, so we had to talk about that. Some great guests, as always. Aaron Torres talking about A&M's #1 class. It is #1, and it's going to stay #1 out there, guys. Ryan Brauninger came to us live from the Metroplex, breaking down the state championship games and also the pursuit of Evan Stewart around Aggieland with Richard Zane, my good buddy, who said he's going to see Spider-Man tonight, and he's not going to give me any spoilers or he will get into a fight with my fist. And Billy Liucci, I don't know if you've heard of him. He came in and we talked a little bit about Max Johnson. That was the other bit of breaking news that happened during the show. Max Johnson transferring in to Texas A&M. It's TexAgs Rewind.
Well, it was kind of crazy because, obviously as we ramp up towards what was signing day a few days ago, you start to familiarize yourself with a couple of things, you hear and okay, A&M's closing in on a top 5 class and they're doing really well. I follow Billy's work and everybody else's work. And I know when a Walter Nolan commits or stuff like that. So, it's already good going into the day. What I didn't anticipate was like every hour on the hour, there was another commitment. Most of these guys are, the hay's in the barn. You kind of know what's happening. And then to watch throughout the day where Anthony Lucas commits, the kid, from Anai White from Philly commits. Obviously, Walter Nolan, we're waiting on his NIL. The wide receiver yesterday commits. By the way, Max Johnson, not even the mix. Jake Johnson the other day. So that was the surreal part to me is I knew A&M was closing in on a big class. And I know, by the way, that they're still in the mix for some guys that are uncommitted as we speak. I didn't realize how many kids were going to pull the trigger on that day. And so, yeah, it must have been a great day to be an Aggies fan. I feel bad for whoever's watching the server on TexAgs because I'm pretty sure that thing probably broke a few times throughout the day. But really, really fun day. I do have a Max Johnson question for you at some point, Nuno. I don't know if you want to get to anything else related to the class itself. I'm just gung-ho and excited to see how they develop.
Then I look at you guys, and you're very calm when it comes to a lot of these names. Billy, calm. You're calm. Howell's calm. Evan Stewart last night, without being flashy, says, yep, I'm going to Texas A&M, just like you guys said.
Yeah, I mean, we do this a long time, and obviously Billy being the figurehead of our whole company and his longstanding reputation as a trusted member of the media community at A&M, but the source for everything in terms of what A&M fans want to hear and know about. And everybody that we had checked with about Evan, nobody was panicking. Nobody was worried. He was still in communication with the Aggies. His family was still in communication with the A&M staff. So, it never gave anybody that we talked to reason for concern or pause going in through Wednesday and even into yesterday early afternoon. We had kind of heard that it would go down yesterday morning around 10:30, and that came and went. So we made some more calls, and everybody's like, "No, everything's still good." And sure enough, it just it happened later yesterday afternoon, and got a signature from another key piece. And now you look where you're at in terms of signees. All your commitments are signed. I know they added Max Johnson today. Billy will be on a little bit to talk about that. But all your commitments are now signed, and you go into this second window with a very select group of targets and guys that you have been on a long time and have long-standing relationships with. And based on how everything else has gone, if that is your premonition or if that is your circumstantial evidence, you'd have to say that A&M is going to get at least 2 of those. I mean, it's hard to say, like I said on the show yesterday, David, that everything's going to go right all the time in recruiting. But it just about has in this cycle for A&M. And with Harold Perkins, Shamar Stewart, and Jacoby Matthews still out there, man, you have to like A&M's chances based off not only just the momentum of the class, but what we know about each of those individual recruitments.
What's going on in around Aggieland, brother?
So we're watching for the Bowerman Trophy presentation tonight. Of course, that's the Heisman Trophy of track and field. Texas A&M has 2 of the 3 finalists on the women's side. Athing Mo, you may have heard of her, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, and then Tyra Gittens, an Olympian and an NCAA champion herself. Third finalist is Tara Davis from the University of Texas. That'll be presented at 6 o'clock tonight. It'll be streamed live on YouTube. You can find that link at 12thman.com. Of course, David, this week was the beginning of the early signing period. 26 members have inked their LOIs with Texas A&M. All committed players have signed. 5 new commitments on Wednesday's signing day: Jake Johnson, Anthony Lucas, Anai White, Cam Dewberry, and Marquise Groves-Killebrew. Currently the #1 ranked class in the country, and that doesn't include the transfer of Max Johnson or the fictional football recruit Hasbullah Magomedov. In soccer news, Katie Smith was named the United Soccer Coaches Scholar All-West Region team, a 3.462 GPA in business school for her. She started all 18 matches and was also an All-SEC second team selection. And then, David, this weekend, we're just watching for some basketball action. Buzz Williams and Company in Corvallis on Saturday night, a 7 o'clock tip-off on the Pac-12 network. And then on the women's side, number 23 A&M hosts Rice on Sunday, a 2 o'clock tip-off on the SEC Network Plus. That's pretty much all I've got, David.
Thank you, Richard. Appreciate you, my friend. We'll see you.
Of course, anytime. And I'll let you know what happens in Spider-Man, I promise.
And then we'll get into a fight.
When Jake will be here along with good
Max.
Lord, Jake and Max will both be here, and I want to go through, after in a minute, the list of guys that will be here in the spring. There's about to be a lot of talent coming in the spring, but none more experienced than Max Johnson. And the irony, right, of his last pass, the last pass he threw was to beat Texas A&M and rip our collective, hearts out there. And a lot of those guys that he's going to come he's a teammate with as of, a few weeks from now. It's so crazy in today's portal era. Like, boom, touchdown to beat A&M in devastating fashion with 28 seconds left. 300-yard game, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. Then he comes over. Hey, guys. I'm your teammate now. And it's fine. Like, that's the age of college football. All the guys will be like, good. Connor Wigman, the freshman coming in, they'll all be welcome with open arms. And I'm going to tell you this, and people don't realize this, the guy that'll be the first one to shake his hand and say, hey, welcome aboard, is going to be Haynes King.
Yeah, that kind of relationship with Zach, right?
Doesn't give a damn about competition. He relishes it, and they need it. This was a dire need. You could do this whole recruiting class, and you could do this #1 class, and it's the best I've ever seen, and all the other things. If you entered the season with 2 scholarship quarterbacks, then everything you did on the recruiting front was incomplete. There's a big gaping hole there in the greatest class ever assembled, and you would go into the offseason going, we failed big time at one of the biggest things we needed, and that was they needed a high school quarterback. They needed a transfer quarterback every bit as badly. Can't do it. Look, Jimbo saw that this year. A&M's so lucky. They could have gone 4-8, 3-9 if Calzada gets hurt. Could have got hurt on his second drive of the Colorado game. Could have got hurt against New Mexico a week later. He did get hurt against Bama. He did get hurt against Auburn, but had that happened sooner, that season would have been probably an epic disaster, and you don't recruit this class like you did, and you can't go into another season with 2. A&M was so fortunate that Zach improved as the year went on and had his couple of giant moments in big games, and then that he didn't get hurt. So you had to get one, and let me tell you, if you're going to get one, that's the guy. I think that's the #1 guy. And I'm not saying Spencer Rattler's got all the talent in the world.
Yeah.
You want that guy coming in there?
Nope.
Who are some other guys out there that are moving around? I think he's better than the guy at UCF. Quinn Ewers. That would have been a circus. And I'm not saying Quinn's not going to be really good. And he might be, might not be. But, yeah, Bo Nix. But I think Bo Nix, but I just didn't think I don't think he's as good.
Right.
Max Johnson had 27 touchdowns, 6 picks last year. He impressed me at Kyle Field 2 years ago. He comes in off the bench, and I'm kind of going, and I know it's not mop-up time, though, because it was 20-0, and A&M's trying to preserve a shutout. But I'm going, he's scrambling around. He's avoiding, the pass. I'm going, he took a huge hit from Andre White, I believe it was there. But I'm like, this guy's tough. I'm glad this guy didn't play the whole game because he's way better than TJ Finley, who played the whole game. So that was my initial thought on Max Johnson. Loved his dad as a quarterback. By the way, teammate Hunter Goodwin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with the Vikings. But I'm watching him that game. I was impressed. Well, then, at the end of that year, he beats Florida in the Swamp, the shoe game, which was, a huge upset. So he went into the Swamp and won a game. He threw for, was it 400 and something, 435, 455 yards against Ole Miss and beat them in the last game of the season. That's where Boutte had 300 yards receiving. His last 2 games of that year, he 6 touchdowns and like 700 yards against Florida and Ole Miss. Then this year, had some games where he wasn't that good against good defense. Arkansas Arkansas I think is when he split time with Nuss, but Alabama, they were all over him. But he's sitting there, driving them down, trying to beat Bama at the end. He's tough. He hangs in. A ton of SEC experience, which is worth its weight in gold, as you know. Huge game against Mississippi State to beat them this year. And he's got 2 wins over Florida. He's got that win over A&M where, look, go back and watch that game. I went back and watched highlights last night as much as I hated to watch because I wanted to see Max. How many times did he scramble? He got sacked 6 or 7 times.
He got out of some, though.
He got out of a lot. And that throw on that touchdown, he's hit right in the mouth by Tyree. Perfect throw to win the game. There was the 4th down conversion there after getting sacked like multiple times. You go back and watch and you go, and I talked about it with some of the A&M guys after the game, how impressed they were with him. I love it. And both those guys are fine with competing. He knew the score. I told you the other day, I heard people talking about, well, why would he go? Well, the reality is there's 2 career starts on the A&M roster at quarterback, and there's a true freshman that's not here yet, and there's one guy. And I think Haynes is the dude. Like, I really do. I think he's out there right now. I think he's already kind of making people go, oh, in case you forgot about me, here I am already.
Thank you all for watching TexAgs Rewind. We want to remind you to like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. We will see you guys next week. Thank you to T-Mobile. We'll see you then.